Governor Kim Reynolds is promising major property tax relief, calling it one of the most important issues lawmakers will tackle this year.
But those changes come with trade-offs and questions about how cities and counties would adapt. Only on KCCI, Chief Political Reporter Amanda Rooker pressed the governor on whether this plan delivers real relief and what it could mean for communities across our state. Amanda?
Well, Ben and Laura, Reynolds tells me this is probably the biggest must-do item on her list in her final year as governor. She says lawmakers have to lower property taxes this year. Now, her plan would cap how fast local governments can raise revenue. It would slow down how often home values are reassessed, and it would freeze property taxes for some Iowans over 65. I asked Governor Reynolds how much relief homeowners can expect, how cities and counties would adjust, and what that could mean for local services.
The models that we've ran projects a little over $3 billion in savings over the 6 years. So, and that's phased in over the 6 years. So they'll start to see some significant property tax reductions in year 2. I think we bump over to about 178 million. I could be off a little bit on that, but I think it's over 150 million for sure. And then we go into the 350, but over 6 years.
Cities and counties are going to collect less.
Yep.
And you mentioned that in your condition of the state speech, that you want local governments to rein in spending. Yep. What type of spending do you think cities and counties should be focused on cutting, and how do you see that impacting services?
They've been elected, they're right individuals. When you have a set amount of dollars, revenue that you have to operate with, then you have to prioritize what's important. How can I do things differently that would, save dollars that I could put into essential services, so that I would assume would be the priorities. And so how do we fund those first, and what are the ways that we can reduce the cost of providing those services? How can we do it differently? There's several counties that are really contracting with their local with their local hospitals to provide public health services. I think that is a great example. Boone was looking at partnering with Story and maybe Green for EMS services. I thought that was a great example.
How do you see your plan playing out differently when you look at rural communities who may have a smaller tax base, some older Iowans living in their communities, versus newer communities that may have, a larger tax base but more people and so more services to provide?
Yeah, so that's where they need to look to their neighbors and see how can we share services, how can we be better at what we're doing. Right now it's a lot of the larger communities that are doing some really innovative things, and we need to just adapt that same mindset. It's trying to give flexibility to the counties, but having them kind of shift the way they're putting budgets together so they can live within their means. And it's kind of a self-fulfilling, because right now a lot of times what we hear, it is harder for rural Iowa. That's where I come from. We don't have a lot of times the property tax base, but as we're seeing property taxes escalating, people are leaving rural Iowa because they can't afford to stay. So that's part of the equation too, and we need to hopefully grow the population in rural Iowa.
Now, the governor's plan also includes a $10 million grant program that cities and counties can apply for if they find ways to share services. And she's also proposing a change that would let county boards appoint treasurers, recorders, and auditors instead of putting those positions on the ballot for elections. I also pressed the governor on the state budget and why she says it's sustainable. That answer is coming up on KCCI 8 News at 6. Laura.